Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl. I'm a recovery coach here at CAP Recovery Center. This is our Freedom Fridays meeting for the day, and our article is Self-Discovery as a Foundation for Long-Term Sobriety. It says self-discovery plays a crucial role in maintaining long-term recovery from addiction and involves a deep examination of one's inner life, helping individuals understand the underlying reasons behind their substance use. Many people turn to substance as a way to cope with unresolved trauma, emotional pain, or unmet psychological needs. Recognizing these root causes through self-reflection allows individuals to address them directly rather than temporarily masking symptoms. By exploring personal triggers and behavioral patterns, individuals can identify specific situations, emotions, or social settings that threaten their sobriety. This awareness enables the development of tailored strategies to avoid or manage triggers effectively. For example, someone recognizing that social anxiety prompts drug use can work on developing healthier coping mechanisms through therapy or mindfulness practices. And that's huge in recovery, is identifying what's really going on, right? Identifying the problem. Instead of it talked a little about like masking our emotions and feelings, right? And avoiding what's really going on, and using drugs and alcohol as a temporary fix, right? You know, we go through a lot of things in life, and we go through a lot of things in active addiction, and we think drugs and alcohol is a solution, right? You know, and it's really not. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a cut. You know, it only does so much. It just doesn't work. And I tried that for many years to like mask my emotions, feelings, and mask the trauma or whatever was going on in my life. And I would seek a solution, drugs and alcohol, and it just made matters worse. Like the delusional and denial thinking I had, thinking drugs and alcohol was going to, fix my problems, which, in the long run, it just made my life worse. So like when we identify some of these things and identify what's really going on, not just identifying, but like addressing and like taking action and seeking solutions for what's really going on. It says reconnecting with passions, values, and a sense of purpose often emerges as a vital component of self-discovery. Many find that rediscovering hobbies, settings, new goals, or realigning their life with core values fuels motivation. This renewed sense of purpose provides resilience during challenges times. Self-awareness built through reflective practices strengthens motivation and resilience. When individuals understand their emotional responses and behavioral tendencies, they are better equipped to handle setbacks without feeling defeated. Tools such as journaling, meditation, and therapy support this ongoing process. We have to find things ways to cope with our emotions and feelings, and cope with life on life terms, and instead of using drugs and alcohol. That was like a go-to. That's trying to solve everything through substance use. I had to find new things to do when I dealt with or when I deal with stress, anxiety, or depression, or some of the trauma that we experience. Whatever the problem or situation is for you, we have to find a different outlet, right? And it talks about journaling, meditating. There's many things that we can do to manage and cope with life. As before, it was a quick fix, right? Which we thought, but like I said earlier, it just made my life worse. And now I have to find ways and means to get and cope with what's going on today without, causing pain and chaos, and not just to myself, to others. I have to regulate and manage my emotions and feelings. And that can be tough, finding new ways to deal with, our emotions and feelings, and we suppress them for many years or try to avoid them. And they always arise. They always come back. We don't forget. Today I can just choose to heal and deal from what happening and what's going on, you know. So I have a better way to cope with life. It said, furthermore, self-discovery contributes to building self-esteem and emotional strength. Recognizing personal strengths foster confidence, making relapse less likely as an individual feel more capable of managing life's difficulties. Creating a supportive network is another outcome of healthy self-exploration. Knowing one's boundaries, needs, and emotional states facilitates forming meaningful relationships that support your recovery. And it goes on to ongoing self-awareness supports living a fulfilling drug-free life. It empowers individuals to understand their personal journey, addresses the core issues driving addiction, and continue evolving behind past struggles. This process promotes not just sobriety, but a richer, more satisfying existence. Yeah, man. So we're, like I said earlier, we're trying to find ways, different ways to cope with our emotions and feelings and just deal with life, right? We talk about life on life terms. And, my background consists of using drugs and alcohol and causing a lot of pain, a lot of suffering to myself and to others, to my relationships, to my community, to everything and everyone around me. That's just my story. So today, I'm not that person, right? And I don't let the past define who I am today. And I don't stay stuck in the emotions and feelings, right? The past can come up, right? And I can feel and deal with the emotions and feelings a lot better today. As before, I would just go use or I would just cause harm. I was dealing with my life and things that was going on, all in negative ways. So now it's about doing something different. Today, I know that my past mistakes and my past drug use didn't solve anything, right? It just made things unmanageable. My drug use made things unmanageable. It created chaos in my life and everyone around me, right? So, and I've learned through my past mistakes, right? That I don't have to be that person anymore. I don't have to live that way, which I thought I was trapped. I felt like I didn't have a way out. And lo and behold, what was keeping me back from getting into recovery was my own thinking, right? My thought process, the way I was thinking, the way I was behaving, the way I was acting. Yes, drugs and alcohol is the biggest problem, right? But then when we stop using, we still have a problem, and that's us. I have to change my perspective. I have to change my mindset. I have to, I had low self-esteem, so I felt very inadequate. I felt less than, full of self-pity, guilt, shame, remorse. So there's a lot of stuff beyond the drug and alcohol use, right? The damage and the wreckage that my drug and alcohol use caused. And now I'm not using, right? So now I'm left with all this stuff, right? And that takes time to break that stuff down, right? And the recovery and getting a support network and getting like a mentor or sponsor and, because I need help, right? I need help in the 12-step fellowship and outside of recovery, I need counseling, therapy, medications. There's many different things that we can do to maintain our sobriety, but we do have to find something. Our pathways are similar, but different, and that's okay. Everybody's pathway is not the same, and that's the beauty of things. Like, we're not all the same. We are, but we're not, right? But we have to find things to maintain our recovery. And what path, I broaden my base. I do a lot of things to maintain my recovery. And that's the only way I can be able to keep it, is doing the work. As before, I wasn't willing to do the work, right? I talked about this the other day. I wanted everything for nothing, right? I was never willing to put the work in. I just wanted things handed to me. I want things because, I was always demanded, I want this, I want that. give me this, give me that. Very selfish and self-centered, I wasn't willing to put nothing into my relationships. I wasn't willing to work for my money, right? I wasn't willing to do anything, so I expected and demanded everything given to me. Um, you know, it's like the childish behaviors, the childish thinking, me. I want, and that's, it was because I started using it at a young age, so to break that selfishness, it was, it's a daily reprieve and it's a daily process to keep working on ourselves to break that self-centeredness. Says integrated techniques for self-discovery, practices such as journaling, therapy, mindfulness activities, engagement in hobbies. It says self-understanding. These activities create a space for self-reflection on past experiences, current emotions, and future aspirations. Engaging with trusted professionals or support groups further enhances this process by providing external perspectives and accountability. In conclusion, self-discovery is a continuous journey that fundamentally shapes an individual's capacity for sustained sobriety. It transforms the recovery process from merely avoiding substance into a holistic effort to create meaningful, purpose-driven life. It says, how does self-reflection reinforce accountability and self-awareness? Self-reflection is fundamental in strengthening personal accountability and self-awareness for individuals in recovery. By examining their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, individuals become more conscious of the triggers and the pattern that they need to relapse. This process encourages honest acknowledgement of past actions and promotes responsibility for one's recovery journey. Techniques like journaling and mindfulness help uncover unconscious habits, allowing for targeted challenges. Regular self-examinations fosters a deeper understanding of oneself, making it easier to stay committed and aligned with personal values. So, like self-examination, self-discovery, right, and really taking a look at ourselves, right, and see what's really going on. Me and my sponsor and other people in recovery talk about doing some self-reflection, right? Doing the inventory and see what's really going on. Getting to the root cause and the root problem of what's going on with us. Like I said, yes, the biggest symptom or the biggest thing in early recovery was the drugs and alcohol. Now that's gone, we have to uncover some stuff, and it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable to address some of our past and see, where did I go wrong at, or why did I use drugs and alcohol in the first place, and we have to identify this stuff, identify our emotions and feelings, and like the triggers and stuff that, really trigger us to go back and use stuff like that. We have to look at that kind of stuff, and it's going to be uncomfortable. We don't want to, we try to, well, I did anyway, try to run and avoid from my emotions and feelings and the problem, right? So now I'm, since I've been in recovery, I have to address my problems head on, right? And that's the only way we can get better, being open and honest, right? And addressing what's really going on and going over it with somebody, right? I can't go through doing stuff like this, right? Or going through life and trying to maintain my recovery. I can't do it alone, right? I need people, other recovering addicts to help me maintain my recovery. I need help on a daily basis. I tried to do things on my own for many, many years, and it got me in a lot of trouble, right? I always became my own doctor, my own therapist, my own counselor, my own prescriber, like I always was running off of self-will, and now we have to find a higher power, and whatever that case may be for you. We have to find a power greater in ourselves, to help us, and that can be various things. We have to find what suits you, it's person driven, but like us putting in the action and putting in the work to maintain our recovery, we also help people and help be there for them to go through their process also. It's like one person helping another, and that's how, recovery and things evolve, is just one person helping another. Because we have to give back. We can't keep what we have by not giving it away. So, doing the work, we get better, right? And while we get better, others can get better also. It says, in what ways can tracking progress and celebrating milestones boost recovery? Monitoring progress through self-reflection helps individuals recognize their achievements and acknowledge improvements over time. Celebrating milestones such as periods of sobriety or personal growth boosts motivation and reinforces positive behaviors. Reflective activities, including writing letters to one's past and future, self-provided opportunities to revisit goals and assess how far one has come. These moments of introspection create a sense of accomplishments, making recovery feel more tangible and rewarding, encouraging continued perseverance and resilience. And it talks about, celebrating milestones, celebrating things, and congratulating yourself and others, just for the little things. I know for me, like my background, I wasn't doing nothing positive in life. I wasn't, trying to get my license or trying to get a job or a house or anything, nothing positive. I was always, like I said earlier, I always wanted everything for nothing. I wanted everything handed to me or given to me. So now, like, it feels good to be trustworthy, accountable, reliable, right, hardworking, visible, available, loving, caring, just being a decent human being, right, expressing my emotions and feelings, right, and not being closed-minded and letting others help me and me help them. Being open and intimate with somebody and letting them know how I really feel, right? And not always thinking about myself, right? Because, the nature of my disease is selfishness and self-centeredness. So, like, just being there for others is a big thing, because I was always take. I was always taking from everybody. And you can talk about like the leech, I was always leeching off of people, and so now, like, giving back is a blessing, right? To take myself out of the situation and just be there for somebody else is a big thing. Which, that's what we got to do. For me anyway, like, I have to help others, because the only reason why I'm here today is because of others helping me, right? And that's how recovery works, is one helping another, not expecting anything in return. I have everything I need today. I don't have everything I want, but like my life is great. It's far better than I've ever been, and I want to keep that. And the only way I can keep that is to maintain my recovery a day at a time, keep working on myself and keep giving back. So life gets good, life gets better. We don't get perfect, we just get better. But that was for our Freedom Fridays meeting for the day. My name is Carl, I'm the recovery coach here at Cap Recovery Center. Until next time, we'll see you later.